And then hello everyone, this is Kuroshiro. So today we'll be looking through the new Hunter Persona webs a little bit more in depth. It's similar to the Survivor one we done yesterday, so yeah, let's get into it now then, shall we? Now then, first and foremost, we will have Nostalgic. So what is Nostalgic? Nostalgic is basically a passive trait. What does it do? It reveals a survivor location after they are rescued from a rocket chair within 24 meters of you. This increases your movement speed towards a survivor direction based on the distance to the survivor by up to 10% for 12 seconds. And when the survivor is more than 12 meters away, if the survivor takes damage equal to a knockdown during this period, the effect will end in advance. This talent loses effects when a survivor is eliminated. Now, let me just show you a clip here. This was Nostalgic before it was nerfed. Basically, there wasn't this thing such as within 24 meters of the chair. It's kind of a global thing. I think NetEase nerfed this because they don't want Marys, geishas, woo-woos, Pawloons, undead mains to be like, you know, catching up to the survivor ASAP. So yeah, I can understand why NetEase nerfed this, but it's 24 meters. I think it's a little bit too little, right? I think 24 meters is too little. But if you want, you can also pair this up with Wither. Wither has also been buffed by I think it's from 15, 20 to 25% now compared to 10, 15 and 20%. So you can compare this up with Wither, but here on the well, I mean, whatever clip you're gonna see first is gonna be the global, and then after that you're gonna see like an basically hitting a psychologist and then someone getting rescued, and I'm gonna stand behind the wall and you're gonna see prisoners, whatever, yada yada being outlined. And then yeah, I think 24 meters is too little, to be fair. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. Now then, on to the next one we go. Next one is gonna be Mischievous. Mischievous is a basic F trait. So what's its basic effects? Its basic effects is basically it increases balloon speed by 20%, as you see here. One is with Mischievous and one is without Mischievous for Leo right here, as we can see. Personal opinion, this is absolutely brilliant against harassers in general. What's the con of this? The con of this is you need to use Nostalgic as well to use Mischievous. I feel like they should put Mischievous in where Nostalgic is on the web, and then put Nostalgic in like the very inner depth of where Mischievous is. Because I feel like not a lot of hunters are really gonna use Mischievous on not Mischievous, are gonna use Nostalgic if it has been like nerfed to that point. So like I think that those two should really switch around. But if NetEase wants us to use a useless persona, I guess it makes sense, because on the Survivor persona web there is also, you know, some fairly useless persona webs that you don't need. For example, Flywheel is one of them. There's like one of the persona which needs 3 perks that you don't really need to use. So yeah, I guess I could bear with it, understand like why Mischievous is on the very inner side of the 12 persona, but once again I feel like they should really switch it around. Then moving on to the next one. Now then, on to the next one. The next one is Control Freak. Now, we, just a special note, there's 2 Control Freaks now in the Persona web for Hunter. One is the normal Control Freak that we have, which increases the chair speed time by 9% when it's 3 perks. But this is the new Control Freak, and I want everyone to note something before we do anything about it. So what is Control Freak? Control Freak is a passive trait. Its basic effects is basically movement speed is increased by 6% for 4 seconds after a natural vertic descent from a height, and the cooldown is 16 seconds. I think this is great. I think this went through a nerf as well, from 8% to 6%, but you know what, who cares. So this is basically to counter, you know, loops in 2 stories, like 2 story in Leos, 2 story in Lakeside, 2 story in Moonlit, and 2 story in Ever Sleeping Town, where there's only one. Well, there's only two stories there, but who cares? So this is great overall. I think most of us probably will be bringing this because they moved claustrophobia onto the inner side, because no one really uses claustrophobia that much, to be fair. But I think this is really good for, you know, counter looping in 2 stories in general. Now then, moving on to the next one. Now then, the next persona will be Impulsive. Impulsive is a 1 perk passive trait. Its basic effect is it basically increases movement speed by 8% when you use your charged attack. And the cooldown is only 5 seconds, and I think this is great. You can use it on Clerk, on Nayed, on Woo Woo, on like you know, basically, like, this is just honestly perfect for undead. Because it goes with the undead persona as well. This is perfect for undead. But there's a special note that I want to tell everyone. So Impulsive and Control Freak, you can mix and match those two together, but you need to be very careful of how you do it. Here's a clip of it while I talk through it. I'm not watching the clip, so it's gonna be very out of tempo. But when you use Impulsive to gain your 8% movement speed boost when you use a charge attack, as you're seeing when I have Woo right here, when you try to drop down immediately in Big Bolt, your Control Freak will not activate. Right, this will not activate as you've seen in this clip right now. So you can't use Impulsive and then immediately afterwards when you drop down to use your Control Freaks, which means you can't take the advantage that when you uses his charge attack hit and then he times it correctly at the whole of Big Bolt, when he jumps down vertically down, right, he won't gain that extra 6% movement speed boost. Sadly, it won't work. This could work if you use your Impulsive first, and then after you finish your attack recovery, if you time it well, like, you use your attack first, but you don't jump down. You actually wait for your attack recovery to occur, and then you jump down. Yes, you can have your extra 5% movement speed buff here, but I don't think it's worth it. So I found another way to do it, which is you basically switch it around. So what do? You basically jump down first, and then you use Impulsive, as you see in this Woo clip right now. I basically took advantage of my 6% movement speed buff first, and then use my 8% movement speed buff, to the point that my basically charged hit is like, it exceeds the window. Like, it's basically, you basically gain an extra distance for yourself, and survivors can't jump over those windows because of that right now. So it's gonna be way easier for like a Wu Chan in like a 2-story setting when a survivor is pretty close, for him to get a terror shock or just get a normal hit on a survivor. Of course, this works with like many others like Ripper, Undead, BQ, Clerk, maybe not Geisha. Well, I guess Geisha would work. Like, just any charge attack hit, lawn animation hunters in general. But yes, this is how you will use it. It's just a small, you know, tip for everyone for the next season. But yeah, this is the combo of Impulsive and Control Freak. Now then, moving on. Now then, next on the list we will have Addiction. This will be our last new persona for, well, it won't actually, because there's still confined space adjustments. Now then, Addiction. What is Addiction? Addiction is a 1 perk passive trait. What's its basic effect? It's basically when there are 2/3/4 free moving survivors are within 80 meters of you, your recovery speed for stuns and other powerful control effect is increased by 15, 20, and 25%. This is not good against forward. Not good against forward. It's only good against forward when the survivor is not down, but it's not good against forward when the survivor is down in front of you. So this wouldn't necessarily work on forward. This wouldn't work on batter as well, because batter pushes you back. Batter doesn't stun you. This could work on painter, but you know, yada yada yada. But you know what? Here's a clip of Antonio. This is Antonio's addiction when addiction is activated and when addiction is not activated. One's on the left, one's on the right. Of course, when addiction is activated, you basically have Berserker Rage, whatever that persona is called, right, alongside with addiction. So your control effect recovery would be very much faster, to be fair. Now then, next on the list we will have Exhibitionist. What is Exhibitionist? Exhibitionist is basically a 1 perk passive trait. Its basic effect is when it increases attack recovery speed by 10% after a missing attack. The effect is increased up by an additional 15% up to 40% for every 1 free moving survivor within the 24 meters of you. This effect ends when a survivor is tied to a rocket chair. So it increases attack recovery when you miss by 10%. This works really well with the other attack recovery too on the detention persona, basically the first perk on the detention persona. I don't know what that's called, but I think it works really well. And of course this works really well on Antonio as well. This is basically perfect for Antonio phase 1. Here's a clip of that. Then last but not least, confined space adjustment. Confined space adjustment is basically just when you vault over a window, you can vault that locked window back, but in exchange that locked window will be unlocked. So yeah. The clip you see here is just a little bug. It's just a little bug. That shouldn't be happening, but yeah. I think it's great overall, but yeah. Now then, there is also one more extra thing I want to mention. First and foremost, exit pad is still on Survivor's persona trait, but Tinnitus is now inbuilt for hunters. So I don't know if NetEase decides to put Tinnitus inbuilt and then exit patch has to be in persona, or they're gonna actually put exit patch in the persona as well. But if they do put exit patch inbuilt, then brewing effect will be brought by most survivors, so it really depends on NetEase's decision for this one. Haha, now then, last but not least, we still had some adjustments made. So this is basically just to show you guys like pre-nerf versus nerf. So this is, notice, Hunter's Talents. 1. Added a condition to Nostalgic. A survivor must be rescued from a rocket chair within 24 meters of the hunter to activate this talent. So yeah, it's basically what I was talking about as well. Nostalgic is kind of rendered useless now. Number 2, Impulsive. Reduce the movement speed bonus from using charge attack to 8%. The cooldown is 5 seconds. The movement speed bonus was originally 10%. Number 3, Control Freak. Performing a normal attack while landing will not activate this talent. As you have seen, it will not activate this talent. Number 4, Addiction. Reduce the area from 24 meters to 80 meters and increase the recovery speed from 10, 15, 20 to 15, 20, 25%. It's kind of an adjustment in exchange for the radius, but yeah, this isn't too bad after all. Now then, please do note that there's also some survivor talents that has been adjusted. The first one is Companion Effect. It reduced the movement speed bonus from 35 to 28% when being rescued from a rocket chair, and the duration is 2 seconds. Number 2 is Herd Behavior. This increases the hunter's immunity duration from 30 seconds to 40 seconds. Basically, when the hunter decides to change targets and when the survivor has no heartbeat, the hunter's outline will be outlined towards the survivors globally for 5 seconds, and now the immunity is increased from 30 to 40 seconds, so it's kind of a nerf for the survivors. Number 3 is Muscle Memory. Adjusted the cooldown from to 25 seconds. It originally was 16 seconds, now it is 25 seconds. I think it's actually okay. It's not too bad. And then last but not least, we will have Clerk. Clerk adjusted invalid duration to 9 seconds. Before the buff, it was actually 8 seconds duration for invalid. So this is not too bad after all. And this is all the time we have today for the new Hunter's Persona web. And I'm Kurushiro. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Comment, like, subscribe. I don't do this often. This is so weird for me. But bye bye. Good day, good night, everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I know it's a little bit more of a fast-paced video because it's an info video. So yeah, compared to all my slow-paced streams, this is very fast-paced. Sorry about that. And then bye bye for now. Have a good day, good night.